When it comes to the collection of medicinal plants in South Africa, there are some traditional taboos associated with the collection of medicinal plants. And that's what this video is all about. But UNISA students, this video is specifically tailored towards you, and I will provide an exam summary right at the end of the video that is also tailored for you. So stay tuned if you want to take a screenshot of that. Real quick, a disclaimer and an apology from my side. I don't like calling these traditions taboos because they are cultural beliefs and should be respected as such. But in the UNISA exams and assignments for the BOT students, they do phrase the question as summarize the taboos of the collection of medicinal plants, or they use the word taboos whenever referring to that stuff. So I'm going to have to use the word taboos just to make it easier for the BOT students, even though I would prefer to use the word beliefs. Alright, let's start.
Hello and welcome to Reign of Knowledge, where knowledge is king.
Law regarding the actual harvesting of plants. Now, according to herbal law, if certain plants aren't harvested in a specific way, then that plant material won't allow the patient to get better. So you have to make sure you harvest it according to the taboo and what it says. Now, you'll actually notice as you go along that most of these taboos actually reinforce sustainable harvesting, which is really, really great for the environment and if you want to still be able to harvest the plant next year. So, okay, for example, Elephantoriza elephantina. I think that's how you pronounce it. In Kazangulu, a Shang-on taboo dictates that if a portion of root has been removed from this plant, then the remaining root system must be covered with soil. Otherwise, a patient treated with this plant material will not get better. Now, this is a taboo that enforces sustainability, because by covering the remaining root system with soil, you give the plant a fighting chance so that it can regrow the removed portion of the root, and then you can actually come back and harvest it once again later. But if you don't cover the remaining root system with soil, it's very likely the plant will die and then you can't come back and harvest it later, because that was not a sustainable method. So very, very good, that one. Another example of this would be bark that is used to treat kidney diseases is only allowed to be collected from the western and eastern sides of the tree. You are not allowed, if you collect the bark from the southern or northern sides of the tree, that said that these sides of the tree have no medicinal properties, it must be from the western and eastern sides of the tree. Now, this is very good because it prevents ringbark. Ringbark, also called girdling, occurs when you remove bark from an entire circumference of a tree. And then when you do this disrupts the transport of water and nutrients to that part of the tree. So the part of the tree above the ring will in fact die then. Look, removing any bark is actually really, really bad for the tree, but removing just a patch is much better than removing a ring, because then the tree can at least repair itself. Look, a tree can never ever regrow removed bark, but it can patch itself up in order to prevent infection or catching a disease or anything like that if you remove a patch. So that is much, much better than removing a bark from the entire circumference of the tree. You basically just killed it. So rather give it a fighting chance if you really have to harvest it. But the best thing to do is not to do it, but if you have to, you have to. Okay, next one, Alapira amatambika. The plant Alapira amatambika is generally only allowed to be collected during winter. This is good because it reserves the plant for the season that it is most needed. Alapira amatambika is used to treat ailments such as coughs, colds, influenza, bronchitis, and we all know that that's the stuff we mainly get in winter. So it's also another two advantages of it is that this gives the plant time to set seed during the summer months, so to grow, and during the spring it allows it to pollinate and create more of itself, which is fantastic if you want, more of it. Okay, now before a traditional healer is even allowed to go out on a collection trip, they first have to seek guidance from the ancestral spirits. Now, I don't understand a lot about the spiritual side of things, unfortunately. Most of my information with regards to this comes from this book here on screen. It is listed in my citations below if you want to go check it out. So, and also if you know more about the spiritual side of this, please leave a comment and maybe share some more info. We'd all love some, especially me. Okay. Guidance can be received through dreams or during prayer. Often this guidance involves telling the traditional healer, also called an inyanga, what's the most favorable time to collect the plant, where the plant can be found, and even sometimes the specific plant that must be used to treat that specific patient. A traditional healer then complements this advice with his or her own training, knowledge, and experience. And factors that a traditional healer that must be considered include moistness, favored locality, season of collection, best aspect of mountain slope, type of soil, and time of day. Now, these factors are well understood by scientists to actually influence the potency of plants and thereby influencing the chemical nature of the plant. So this taboo actually has a lot of science to it, so it's not entirely false. It is actually very relevant, even if you're not a traditional healer, even if you're just a botanist. If a traditional healer sees that a plant has already been harvested from, then that traditional healer is not allowed to harvest the plant or harvest part of the plant. I couldn't find a reason for this, but I'm just going to assume that the reason is because if this is done, then the patient treated with the plant material won't get better, and maybe it'll also do the previous person who collected the plant material, also their patient may not get better as well. And then the final taboo that I'm going to mention in this video, please remember these are cultural beliefs. I know someone is going to get salty about this taboo. It is a cultural belief. Please respect it. A woman is not allowed to collect medicinal plants if she is menstruating. This is because it's believed that a menstruating woman collecting medicinal plants, those plant materials will then be less potent. The potency will be reduced, so they won't be as effective as if she didn't collect them. Now, I have no idea what the reason for this taboo is, and if you do, please let me know. I'd love to know, and please, comment section, be nice. Okay, so here's the exam summary for the BOT students, and for those interested, feel free to pause the video and take a screenshot. Any questions you may have, please feel free to ask. Any extra information you have, please feel free to share. I would appreciate it. I really, really would. All the best. Hope to see you next time on Reign of Knowledge.